Hello and welcome to American Top 40. I'm Casey Kasem, and this...
Hey, baby, welcome on in here to the Wolfman Jack Show for a Tuesday night.
Do not attempt to change the channel. Your regularly scheduled program will not be heard because we are controlling the transmission. Prepare to have your mind enlightened as your third eye opens. This is Third Eye Radio with Dave Wyndorf and Walt Flanagan.
Welcome to Third Eye Radio. I'm Walt, and I'm joined, as always, by Dave Wyndorf.
What's up, everybody?
How you doing, Dave?
Hello, Walt. What's up, man?
How are things on Monster Magnet Planet? How's
They're going?
Going?
Yeah.
Got a date yet for the release?
No, because I don't know exactly when I'm going to get done writing and singing the lyrics. Like, all the music's done, and I'm kind of dragging my ass on writing the lyrics and singing it.
Oh, okay.
So it's one of those, maybe I should have written the lyrics while I was doing the music, but sometimes I just can't multitask.
Okay.
So
no anyway. Firm date yet, but this year or
no,
we're looking
it'll be next year.
2026.
It'll either be like, springtime of next year or fall of next year.
Okay.
And that'll give me enough time to, get my stuff together to go on tour and do all that kind of stuff.
Well, I'm looking very much forward to it. Today, going over some movies and comics. Going to do a war movie. And you mentioned before we started that you actually saw this movie theatrically.
I thought in the theater, yeah. 60. I didn't see it in its first release, but, that movie stayed around for a good 6 years. I mean, that played as second bill to movies for years. It was such a hit. So I saw it when I was 11. It was like 68. It came out in 67.
Yeah, we're talking.
And it was already legend.
Yeah, we're talking The Dirty Dozen.
Yeah.
Did you like it as an 11-year-old?
Oh, yeah. I totally loved it, Yeah, it was, it's like a big, giant, widescreen, the way those late 60s war movies were. They were trying to get the last, as Vietnam started souring everybody on all that stuff. The studios kept trying to because World War II was such a bankable thing for so long, we were already 30 years away from the war, and it was still selling. Any World War II movies were huge. World War II was a boom for fiction in America. We won.
Yeah.
It's a great human drama, and they just kept making movies and stories.
Now, I think a good place to begin with is the freaking movie poster, because if there was a movie poster Hall of Fame, damn, I think this poster would be in first ballot. First off, it looks like a combination of a comic book page and one of those magazine covers from those men's adventure magazines.
Yeah, well, that's exactly what it's supposed to be. Look like those men's adventure magazines. And I forget who did that. Is that Robert McGinnis that did that? I forget.
I don't know.
It might be
but
McGinnis
it's
and
awesome.
somebody else. Oh, and the blurb, train them, excite them, train them, excite them, and turn them loose on the Nazi command.
Yeah, because there's 3 little comic book panels that want, like you said, train them, and there's an image of 2 guys kind of fighting jujitsu or something. Right. Then the second panel is
excite them,
and I guess they're bringing in
the
prostitutes. Or those are prostitutes, right?
Yeah, those are hookers.
In the movie.
They don't actually come out and say it.
They don't actually come out and say it. But what a nice touch, though, that not all the prostitutes were drop dead gorgeous in the movie.
Well, that was definitely on purpose.
It was so.
That's Robert Aldrich doing his thing, man. Robert Aldrich, he knows how to make guy movies in the old style. Yeah, he made
one of my all-time favorite movies. I think is even better than The Dirty Dozen, and it's the same formula.
Longest Yard.
The Longest Yard.
Yeah, that's his crown achievement.
That's a great
I mean,
Burt
Robert
Reynolds
Aldrich
movie.
knows how to make movies for guys, 20th century guys. That's what he does. He makes movies for 20th century guys. And The Longest Yard, how could you not?
I
mean,
adore
that movie. Was legend as well. I mean, that ran in the movie theaters before the days of cable and stuff. You know, I mean, that movie would just stay in the theaters because public just would not let it leave. They, you know, you put it's an old movie, but people still want to see it. What do you do with that? You put it second on the bill for new movies. People would go just to see that again and again.
I can't tell you how many times flipping around this TV, and if I come across, even if it's like an hour into the movie, if The Longest Yard is on, I cannot change the channel.
It's like The Godfather with me, the same thing. And Longest Yard, you can change the channel because it's pretty much a perfect movie. You know what I mean? There's no wasted space in that movie at all.
No. I mean, that same can't be said for Dirty Dozen. I feel there is some wasted space, but the Longest Yard is, like you said, it's such a fun, captivating movie about
it's a dude movie.
degenerates who you root for, and it's such a great movie. And I think it's my favorite Burt Reynolds movie, and he's got a lot of movies I do like him in. Deliverance is awesome, but
Deliverance
is just a little bit tough at times. You'd have to be in the right mood.
I like White Lightning.
White Lightning, was that and Gator? Was that
Gator?
That was
he was Gator
McCluskey.
Yeah. Like before he became the Burt Reynolds that who was posing for Playgirl magazine and stuff. He was actually really cool for a while.
He was. He was like,
and then he redeemed himself in the back when he came back with like Boogie Nights and stuff. It was like, wow. Burt Reynolds.
The roles he chose in the early to mid 70s, like he couldn't miss. And sadly, though, that luck would run out. I mean, as he aged, I guess he was still trying to be like, remember Ace, or so, like a Stroker Ace, or was that it?
Yeah,
I don't remember. There's a stick. Yeah. There's a lot of bad.
Well, I mean, Hollywood. I mean, you can't do it forever. I mean, nobody does it forever unless you don't work. And he was the guy. He was the guy who wanted to work. So there was two kind of Hollywood stars, and one that would not care about the money and only work when it was really, really important. And the other guys who was just like, look, I'm an actor, put me in. I
can't.
So the odds are you're going to make a bunch of crappy movies.
I can't say enough though about those early Burt Reynolds movies. Like he was on top of the world, and he could not miss. It felt like.
I remember saying to myself, I was a teenager, like, he's the luckiest guy in the world. You know what I mean? It's like he obviously just looks like he's having such a good time, and all the girls love him.
Yeah, and you're right. And like you could see he was having a good time, and that like was palatable. It came through and on all those roles,
Yeah, definitely. I mean, he found his mojo, and like. He found his mojo. Something was easy for him, natural for him to do. And it just so happened that the whole country loved his mojo. They're like, give us more. Can't have enough. For a while there, they couldn't get enough of Burt Reynolds.
How fucking badass would it have been if Burt was cast in The Dirty Dozen now looking back, right? I mean, is that one of the what ifs you would like to see?
I went through it because I read about other people that Aldrich had wanted to work with, like, so I went down the rabbit hole on that.
I did. I only have one, but all right. So the director, again, Longest Yard, great movie. I think maybe better than Dirty Dozen in my opinion. But then we go with Lee Marvin, would be the star, right?
Yeah, Marvin's. Yeah, he's unbelievable. That hound dog face. Nobody looks like him ever before or after. He looks like he's got this big head.
He just oozes tough, right? I mean, there is no.
Posey.
That face, he could say, he can emit more kind of intimidation without even saying anything, just with a look. He had that kind of vibe.
It's the look. It's like guys, you tend to get. Well, he had like whatever genes he had, just gave him that face. But also, what gave him was the 20th century habit of drinking hard and smoking all the time. So it gives him those lines in his face that are premature. So it's kind of it's not an old face, but it's got the heavy lines that you do in a comic book. And you can't look away from him,
Speaking of comic book, did you know that he would, I mean, I'm sure you know. I mean, why am I asking you? Yeah. But like Gil Kane's.
His name is Kane. Yeah, remember that?
Savage. His name is Savage.
Right. His name is Savage.
Which is a comic. I mean, before an era of it was just DC, Marvel, I guess, and a few, maybe Charlton, but like Gil Kane put out
he did that with Wally. He did that with Wally Wood got the backing for that.
It was like a black and white magazine.
Yeah.
And he based the look of this badass detective on Lee Marvin.
Yeah.
I mean, if you look up the cover of the first issue, came out right around the same time as this, 68, I think.
Yeah, I don't know who did that painted cover, but that's Lee Marvin.
Yeah, all the way.
And not a very good Lee Marvin, but it's there. It's like, that whole boy. This is so inside baseball today.
That's all. That's what this show is.
To 44 people.
I've given up trying to make it accessible.
Come up with a little contest or something. Come on, Walt. Give me one of your little contests.
There's no way to make some of these episodes accessible, I don't think.
But, just when it's the Savage thing, I thought that thing would have done fantastic if they just hadn't used that typeset.
Yeah. And with that.
And it squeezed out the art. And it's like, what would they do in making the art smaller? They should make it bigger, I
agree with you, but it is one of those treasures that not a lot of people know about. And when I discovered it, I was like, what is this?
Yeah, I mean, it comes in like your alien alarm goes on, like, dee, 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 dee. There's a UFO. This is neither fish nor fowl. It's not Marvel. It's not DC. It's not Warren.
It's not superheroes.
It's not.
And it's violent.
It's really violent. Yeah.
And it's Gil Kane.
He's one of the most, I think, one of the most violent artists ever. Not by graphicness, but by sheer snarl. Like Kane's punches are more evil than Kirby's punches. People are having more.
They felt like they were more impactful.
He swiped a lot from Kirby. If you look at the difference between Kane 64 and Kane 68, you'll see. I can show you absolute swipes that he learned.
And when you mentioned, for anybody who may not know what you meant, with like the word balloons in this black and white magazine-sized comic book, they look like someone had typed them in on a typewriter.
They're typeface. It's always the biggest mistake.
And it was jarring then, and it's jarring now, but it was it must have been something just by ease or
I thought
money.
They probably yeah, there's money too, but he probably thought it would look less comic booky. Less maybe. Comic booky.
Yeah.
But, I mean, it alienates you from it. It's like, you need that hand lettering, dude, or some sort of proximity of it.
And also, you mentioned he's a hard drinker. It wasn't a secret that he was an alcoholic on the set of
Lee Marvin?
Lee Marvin, yeah. Apparently, one of when the big finale with the people are driving tanks around at the end of the movie, he's supposed to be in one of the tanks driving it, and they can't find him anywhere. And and he halts production big time, and they find him at a pub.
I didn't know that.
And they had to drag him back to production, but he's too drunk to drive the tank. And the next guy who we're going to talk about, and also Lee Marvin was a vet of World War II. He actually
sure was. There were a lot of vets in that movie.
Yeah, but the next guy who was super pissed at Marvin because of that. Him not being available to shoot that scene. Maybe the toughest looking actor in the history of cinema, Charles Bronson.
What a face.
What a squint.
It looks like,
right?
It's a combination between Gil Kane's Hulk and Darkseid. It's like, it just looks, he looks like Gil Kane's Hulk.
I'm laughing because it's so accurate.
And again, I mean, with these faces, these 20th century faces, man, like he's made out of clay or something. And he was a little guy.
And that squint is like, you can say more with a squint than you can with like a full page of dialogue.
He made a career of it.
And his character in this.
It's a great character.
Because he's one of the few who's
smart. He gets it.
And he's also not, he's not a creep. His crime was with some sort of valor. He shot the guy that deserted the unit, who had the radio and had all the medical supplies.
Yeah, right.
And he was taking off, and he was like, he's leaving everybody to die, and he shot him.
He was an officer too.
Yeah,
because that's it. The whole movie is anti-officer. No matter all the officers are the same on either side. They all live in luxury.
Yes.
While these guys and they all like.
But
boy, Bronson really, really stepped up in that movie. He
did, and there you have to have some members of the team not be total degenerates. So, and he was a guy who had some sort of nobility or honor, and I think Lee Marvin, as the leader of this pack of psychos, sees that he's probably not a psycho. He's
I'm
just
sure
a guy
Aldrich held back. I mean, if he would have made that movie for the first time, like 20 or 30 years later, the whole thing would have been just a psychotic mess of you know what I mean? It's very reverent. They give you these bad guys, but they're not as bad as they could be, except for Maggot,
Savalas,
except for Telly Savalas, who's definitely got all the, he's a woman killer.
He has a religious
some crazy version of his own Christianity where God told him to kill women. So he's the absolute maniac. Then there's like a couple dumbos and wise guys, but John Cassavetes looks great because he really appears to be a psycho.
What's his name is in the movie? Because we've got Donald Sutherland,
right? Who's great. Everybody's great in the movie.
Ernest Borgnine playing a great role.
Yep.
George Kennedy didn't have that much to work with.
I love Kennedy, but I mean, his movie that year was Cool Hand Luke.
Yeah.
Luke.
You won an Oscar for it, right?
Yeah.
We've got Robert Webber, Clint Walker.
Yeah.
And Jim Brown.
Yeah. Well, Jim Brown was the secret weapon in the movie, which is what brought black and white together in the Red Bank movie theater. For the first time that I'd ever seen this kind of union amongst kids. When I was a kid, you go to the movies, and of course it was black and white, but at all movies and stuff. But this movie, I don't know in its first run, I'm sure it was all the adults, but by the time it got back to the second run in '68, they would run it in if you could believe this. They'd run it in a series of summer movies that were for kids. That's the way it was back then. It was like, it's a tougher world. Yeah. And they put war movies in. Like there was a John Wayne movie, Dirty Dozen was in there, along with stuff like Jack the Giant Killer, And it was just filled up with an equal amount of black and white kids from town, nobody else, all from town, just cheering Jim Brown, everybody. Jim Brown was the guy. And the legend of the movie, because we're kids, we didn't see it, but you heard about it from older brothers and stuff, that Jim Brown's the baddest guy. And I was like, you really noticed that things were changing when you saw everybody cheering for the same guy. Mm-hmm. And it's like, I don't remember that going on before that, no.
And Jim Brown's character also, I have to say, he's also much like Bronson. He's sympathetic in that his crime was he was
being black,
and being roughed up by by other members of his squadron or something.
It's great the way Aldrich pulls that off, the direction for and the way that Lee Marvin pulls it off. It's like you see that when he first interviews everybody, he tells them, stands up and he looks everybody in the eye. He doesn't look Jim Brown in the eye. He's already like, I know what this guy's story is.
Right, and he fought back. He defended himself, and I guess he killed a fellow officer, but in defense. Mm-hmm. Yeah, so he isn't one of these psychos. But I want to ask you now. I can't imagine that the military still throws around death sentences like they did. Like everybody in that prison, that military prison, almost everyone had a death sentence for what they did. Do they still have death sentences in the military?
When you're at war, yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah. When World War II was like, you don't mess around. There's a movie called, I think it's called The Victors, and they have a great scene of with playing Frank Sinatra's "Have Yourself a Merry Little Christmas" of all these guys getting shot for going AWOL. They shoot you for going AWOL. Like, I got scared, and I ran through half of France, and they caught me on the beach and they brought me back. So what are they going to do? They're going to kill you. I mean,
but but almost everybody in that squadron that they took, they to give a, if you choose to come on this mission and you live, well, you'll be, I guess, pardoned, and you won't get the death sentence, and you'll be allowed to go free.
Yeah, it was like, well, go free, you go back in the Army,
Yeah, and Jim Brown, another footnote is, because the production ran over time where it was so delayed, he was supposed to go back and play football for the Cleveland Browns.
Right, and the owner got all a big hard on about it, right? And said you got to choose the movies over football.
And he retired at the peak of his career, and I guess he was like, I'm going to become a movie star now.
Yeah.
And in retrospect, it feels like, I know he did do other movies after this, but I don't know if it turned out the way he hoped it would.
No way. I mean,
and I don't know why, though, because he seemed like he picked it up pretty easily.
He started doing the blaxploitation movies, and they were no way to get through in Hollywood. I mean, people went and saw him. He was a movie star to a certain amount of people, but he didn't get, after you start doing those movies, blaxploitation movies or whatever, exploitation movies of the early 70s, which made a lot of money, it didn't make anybody a star.
Right.
And there was, that's a whole nother thing. I don't know if you like blaxploitation movies, but
there's some I've seen that are just so enjoyable.
Absolutely. So what a wild trip that was. I went and saw them all when I was a kid. Like, what's going on?
I mean, the granddaddy of them all being Dolomite, right? But I'm sure there's a multitude of ones I've never heard of.
There were ones like Superfly and stuff like that, which were,
Yeah.
I mean, and radical too,
The character I want to ask you about, because I am scratching my head. Maybe you could tell me why this character was given so much screen time. The character of Franco. Who was
That's John Cassavetes. Yeah.
What was he in, or why did he merit so much screen time?
And I mean, at that point, he didn't.
He was not in anything prior to this that would have.
No, he was in stuff, but he was a very, very well respected actor from the New York School of Acting, which is he didn't go to Hollywood much, and he did what John Cassavetes did, these art movies in New York, with these black and white art movies, and people like Jenna Rollins and all that stuff. He's a very well respected actor. He didn't do a big Hollywood a lot, and for some reason, they wanted to give. It seems to me like Aldrich just wanted to show one guy that could go from being totally psycho to being a cool guy. Like, he had to show one guy that really went from being super, super dangerous to really responsible.
Okay.
I mean, that's my guess.
I'm just there was so much more interesting characters in that squadron that I feel would have been it would have been more valuable to the viewer, because I'm like, why does Franco get so much screen time over Bronson? It's just a head scratcher, in my opinion. It was because every time Bronson's on, he's magnetic, and you just can't take your eyes off him. Franco was just kind of annoying, the character.
It's John Cassavetes, man.
Did you know that John Wayne was offered the Lee Marvin role?
Yes.
How different would that movie have been?
That would have been horrible. Horrible, miserable movie. You take Lee Marvin out of anything he was in, and automatically 90% of the movie, it's like that face. I mean, what Eddie, and what people forget, and or what even Wiki forgets, is that Robert Aldrich made another war movie with Lee Marvin called Attack. And it's him and Jack Palance. And it is one of the best screenplays I've ever read, I've ever seen in my life. It's worth it. You could listen to it with the sound down, and you would go nuts. Lee Marvin is such a great, he plays a Southern officer who's scheming in politics. He's not the star of the movie, Jack Palance is. But Lee Marvin is great, and he's really evil. Just evil, but in a more controlled way. And Jack Palance, who was also considered the part for Maggot
Oh, the Telly Savalas.
Yeah. But he didn't want to do it because of the religious thing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was like too much of a psycho for him. But Jack Palance is in this movie, this Aldrich movie called Attack. And man, I mean, if you want to spend a good hour and a half, that movie is the most quotable.
Okay.
I mean, some of the quotes are like, if ever a man needed dying, it's that no good putrid piece of trash laying there. You know, it's the whole movie is like that, stuff like that. You're like, what was that? What did he say?
Yeah, Maggot. You mentioned Maggot, Telly Savalas. I have been on for over about at least 2 years. I have been on a Kojak binge. And have you? I don't know if you've ever went back.
Who loves it, baby?
It is some of the most enjoyable, over the top, just like tongue in cheek.
I know.
Tough guy. Small screen.
You know, he directed a lot of those too.
I didn't know he directed them.
He directed some of them.
The fact that they're using actual New York City as their set
makes all the difference in the world.
It does.
Yeah,
it is unbelievable. It is just.
You're not alone, my friend. There's other people out there
captivated by Kojak like for the last 2 years, and the character of Kojak and his tough guy, with this wicked sense of humor, and it's just. You cannot help but just fucking fall in love with every episode of Kojak.
Yeah,
and his brother Stavros. He's not his brother in the show, but in real life, Stavros.
Yeah, I mean, the one and only Bone Dome himself. I mean, it's like, where did this come from? I remember shaking my head.
Did he parlay this into Kojak? Because what else in between was Telly Savalas doing? Because I mean, Kojak puts him into.
He was in Kelly's Heroes. He did a couple more war movies after that. He was in Kelly's Heroes, which was another big screen epic. They tried to make that the Dirty Dozen, but it wasn't. You know. But it was the same look, not the same director. But I don't think it was the same director. But it was the same look, that Panavision, like that. 70 mil.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that's a good thing about Dirty Dozen too. It looks good.
Yeah, it does.
It's a good looking movie. You know, they didn't spare no expense. They built that whole thing.
Well, we'll get to the end. Yeah, we'll talk about the end. But I mean, I wasn't sure because I didn't see this until I was much older, this movie. And I wasn't sure if right out of the gate, this turned Telly Savalas into a bankable actor who could land the role, like a starring role in a TV series, which I think propelled him into pop culture icon 70s, the lollipop. I mean, anybody who's of a certain age is going to see that face and know exactly who he is.
Well,
Kojak over Maggot. I mean,
after movies and people had to make decisions, right? If you notice, there wasn't a lot of Hollywood stars or people that had made it a big blip or buzz in Hollywood that were TV stars in the 60s. Most of the 60s TV stars were TV stars. People that were made from TV. Meaning, hey, it's Bob Crane in Hogan's Heroes. Who's Bob Crane?
And they didn't make the leap to movies. They were kind of pigeonholed, you mean?
And what they didn't cross over that much. It was considered like you were going to poison yourself if you did it. So there were TV stars for the most part. I mean, of course, there's always exceptions, but there were a lot of people that were made from TV. Somewhere in the early 70s, they got the idea after recycling stars through those recycling older stars and some current ones, movie stars, in these gang movies like The Towering Inferno, where they have everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Someone got it in their head and TV, like these people aren't forgotten. Like everyone's got a place,
Mm-hmm.
Give them all TV shows. Telly wrote in on that. He had that. Jack Palance had Bronk. Lorne Greene had everybody had these crazy.
The second act on television.
Yeah, second act. And all that 70s TV is so much different than 60s TV. It's like all of a sudden, all these, just the whole thing, the whole Rockford Files and Kojak. And Rockford Files is also a really, really good show, I think.
I enjoy it,
but it doesn't have the.
I enjoy it because how ludicrous it is.
Yeah, it's ridiculous.
It's certainly not as raw and gritty as Kojak. Yeah, but what's her name? Susan St. James? Was that the Rockford Files? Oh no, Rockford Files was not. I'm thinking of Millen and Wife.
No, how dare you? Oh man, come
That's
on.
what I was thought you were talking about.
No, Millen and Wife.
Okay, yes,
awful.
yes, you're right. Rockford Files was
Rockford-
definitely okay.
James
I'm sorry,
Garner, man.
I was thinking of
let me
Rock
down.
Hudson.
I know you're going light on me, but still, man, McMillan and White.
All right, so if in a different universe, if John Wayne had taken it, the only reason he said he didn't take it was because he felt that it was too much of an anti-war movie, and he wanted to ramp up support for the Vietnam War. He felt that people were waiting. Why? Why would John Wayne care about that?
What
About the public perception of a failed war, though. A failing war at the time.
I mean, why did Bob Hope do it? Why did half of John Wayne's generation get on the Vietnam side, man? It was like, we're not going to lose this war. We're not going to lose the perception. This is America. These are the people that saved the world during World War II, and we're not going to go this way. And I will help you. I will help in any way. He didn't understand what was going on in Vietnam. The President of the United States didn't even understand. No one understood what was going on in Vietnam until it was all over. It was a giant clusterfuck of people going, oh, well, I mean, it was a complete, if you read the history of it, which is a long one. But for some reason, I got a hair up my ass 30 years ago to find out what happened in Vietnam. And I read about it for about 25 years. Things happen so fast. There's just no way for anyone that the intelligence was so lousy or ignored by people that no one knew. It became much like it is today, where people care more about what things represent than what they are. You know, it's like a Trump thing. Like, do they really think Trump is this great guy? I don't think anyone does. But they care about what he represents to them. It's just like this narcissistic, totally American thing. Like, oh, I like this because it represents what I got. And it's like, nobody gives a shit what you want. You know, I want what's best for everybody. But people forget that. The Vietnam thing was huge in that way. It polarized people in such a way people didn't even realize what was going on. Are we winning? Are we losing? They didn't realize that the rules of this war wasn't the rules of World War II. It was a political war. The thing was to win hearts and minds of people. It wasn't to how many people you kill. In fact, the more people we killed, the worse we did. Mm-hmm. You know, it's just nuts. Wayne was unbelievable. Him and Bob Hope just went out of their way to become the biggest assholes in the world. Just like, this is ridiculous. I mean, Wayne made the biggest Vietnam propaganda movie ever, The Green Berets, which you got to watch because you'll die laughing.
I have to admit, I am not a war movie guy. Never watched them growing up, so I don't have that kind of affinity for them.
That was my nickname when I was listening to war movie.
Yes,
but,
that was your email address.
That's my email. Yeah. I just loved it because it's. I like dude movies, like 20th century dude movies, because it's granite-faced men out of their depth trying to get it together. And I just love the conflict with these guys trying to figure stuff out. And I don't know why I like that so much. But I like corporate movies, too. I like when people fight, you know, talking head movies when corporation guys are fighting. And
what's an example of one?
I shouldn't say corporate, but I guess Hollywood movies are good about. You ever see The Insider?
No.
That's a corporate movie. It's Al Pacino and Russell Crowe. True story of a guy who went up against Big Tobacco.
Okay.
In the 80s, and it was leaned on by a corporation to try to crush him. But it's these dudes and women that are in these almost impossible situations.
Like what's that one with Sally Field? What was it? Not Martha Ray, Sally Ray, or?
Oh yeah, that's a great movie. Yeah, Martha Ray. Yeah, it's Martha Ray, not Martha Ray. Martha Ray was, hi, it's Martha Ray. I'm the big mouth. But yeah, anyway, so war movies, there's like all this tension. It's not just about the action; it's about about these guys trying to figure stuff out.
And I feel like for those who didn't watch it, I guess we haven't really explained. The movie is about the Uncle Sam tabs Lee Marvin, this officer, to lead a group of American GI prisoners who are facing long sentences, if not death sentences, for crimes committed while in the service of
some
the
of
US
the crimes
Army.
include murder.
And they are going to, and Marvin's going to train them to parachute into Germany and attack a lavish castle, a German castle filled with high-ranking Nazi officers.
And they're women.
To demoralize the Nazis when all their
It's like
big wigs are
It's like a week before D-Day or a day before D-Day.
And so that's the mission.
Yeah.
And I will have to ask you this. Was 12 too many? Because I swear 7 of the 30 dozen don't even get lines, it feels like, in this movie, right?
Yeah, I know.
Aren't there like 5 or 6 who just like you don't even remember who they were? They didn't focus on them at all.
All of a sudden at the end you see guys dying that you don't recognize,
Well, I want to ask you, there's a character who dies parachuting into Germany and he dies off screen.
Well, that was Trini Lopez, and that's because he quit the movie.
Yeah, and do you know why he quit?
Somebody gave him advice, like Quincy Jones or somebody, or Frank Sinatra. Frank Sinatra
told him, "You've been out of the game too long. You're too busy making this movie. When you come back from this movie, no one's going to remember who you are. You got to get back into the music game." And so he was like, "I quit."
Wow.
And
I never knew that, but I always thought that was a bold move. I was like, "Wow, they killed off Trini Lopez off screen." Like, wow, this movie's not kidding around.
But did he even have they didn't flesh out that character either, though, before they killed him?
No, he did his Trini Lopez thing. He played the guitar for 3 seconds.
I think, and I'm surprised, but I did find out doing some research. I'm surprised it's taken this long for them to not do a remake of this movie. Hollywood hasn't come a knock in to remake this, but they apparently are going to remake this in production. I don't know who's involved. But
it would have been a Brad Pitt thing, at any point.
But I feel the movie's long too. It's like 2.5
hours, which is forever in 1967. 2.5. I mean, that was like,
a lot could have been cut from this. I feel the training sequences they go on too long, and God.
Well, it's like 2 movies.
Why didn't they realize that the sooner they get him to Germany, that's when everything just comes together and you are immersed then. But until then, you're kind of just like,
I think
spinning their wheels.
Just like comic books and just like, this is the way writing goes and the way a director sets up. He wanted to take as much time to get you to know these people before he killed them off real quick. So he wanted to make you feel bad for the bad guys. And the only way to do that is...
for the American bad guys.
The American bad guys, yeah. Well, fuck the Germans. I mean, if you think about it, that's the most murderous, horrendous thing at the end. I mean,
okay. We can go right to the, get to the end here.
Horrible, it's just like, wow, they just baked them.
But the
payback's a bitch, Nazis.
But the plan is they will parachute into Germany, and that is when the movie just becomes so much more, I don't want to say fun, but it becomes more captivating because Lee Marvin and Bronson are going to sneak into the castle as Nazi officers only because Bronson can speak some German, but not great German. And even he admits while in the castle, it's like, what did that guy say? He goes, I don't know. I can't remember how to speak German. He goes,
And boy, those 2 guys look great in those Nazi uniforms. They look spiffy.
Yeah,
it's like...
So while they're in the castle, the rest of the Dirty Dozen are setting up, and they're going to set up explosives. And the castle itself, the first time I watched this movie, I cannot tell you how I could not figure it out. I was like, how did they make this? Like, who blows up a castle? Because I was like, this is definitely a real castle. In my mind, I'm going, this is, there is no doubt about it because there's no special effects. There's no CGI.
Nope.
How did they do this even then? And it was only now doing the research. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah. So they built maybe the biggest set ever, they said? Yeah. One of the biggest sets ever.
And they built it too well. They couldn't blow it up. They had to It wouldn't. They built it too well. Then they had to like kind of build out on it to blow it so it would fall apart because they're like, we're going to need so much stuff
so many tons of explosives to blow it up
it's
properly.
going to be too dangerous, So they had to build some other stuff.
They rebuilt it out of certain sections out of cork.
Yeah. Cork, right?
But
man, it was all worth it because that's a hell of a bang. There ain't nothing like seeing real stuff blow up. CGI is just like so over, man. When you see something like this, you're like, that's the way to do it.
But can you think of a world where, for a movie, we need you to build a castle? It looked like a real. I don't know if it was just a facade of a castle, but it sure didn't look like it. I mean, it was stunning.
Yeah, I had no, I had no clue, no thought in my mind that it was anything but a real castle. That maybe at the end they switched, really quick and blew something else up. Because that whole thing, I had no idea they built that whole damn facade.
When I saw it years ago, I was like, maybe before the internet, that's why I couldn't look it up. But I was like, I'll be damned if that doesn't look like a real castle. I'm going, they wouldn't blow up a real castle for a movie.
It would. When movies were made by men, and I'm going to blow shit up. I just love it. I mean, just all the way up to right before CGI like really took over the last bunch of great, like the second Terminator movie.
Yeah.
They have some auto stuff in that's just absolutely amazing. A tractor trailer that, nowadays they would,
No. So the finale of the movie is they start attacking the Nazis. Well, like the Dirty Dozen starts their attack, I guess, a little bit earlier than they want to. Things kind of get fucked up because Telly Savalas goes rogue.
Yeah, it goes nuts and it kills a Fräulein.
Yeah, it kills a German.
Wolfgang. Some poor, German girl's looking for her lover. And he finds Telly Savalas, who is always wet-lipped, if you notice. He looks like a worm, and like a human worm. He's really good at being creepy.
Yeah, he is.
And then he comes over and he looks like he's going to kiss her, and he puts a shiv in her belly.
So that means the plan has gone awry and you got to improvise, and they start firing weapons inside the castle. And then that alerts all the German officers and their wives to run into, I guess, not a safe room, but a safe cellar.
It was a bomb shelter.
Bomb shelter, yes. And that's when maybe one of the most lurid scenes as the Dirty Dozen then begin to improvise, like, okay, out of the shafts, the air shafts.
Yeah, like our mission was to kill as many officers as possible. That was our mission. And now all the officers have hidden in a double locked bomb shelter and they can't get in. So somebody gets the bright idea. I was like, well, there's got to be air shafts. Why don't we put as much explosives in all those air shafts?
Pour gasoline down it.
Pour as much gas as we can down there and just
burn them alive.
Burn them alive and blow them up and burn them alive. And that's like the women too. All their women.
Oh yeah. This must have been a very shocking scene for 1967 audiences. Even in a world where that's still the enemy, and I'm sure there was still a lot of hostilities and people who were still furious.
Sure.
It's still jarring to see the heroes just be like. And then there's one scene that I really enjoyed was there's one guy in the Dirty Dozen who looks at Lee Marvin and he's like, start pouring the gasoline down the shaft. He's like, really? This is what we're gonna do? And he's like, he goes, what do you want to do? Ask. And he points to all the dead Dirty Dozens on the ground. He goes, ask them what they want to do.
Yeah.
And then they just start pouring the gasoline.
What's cool about the movie is that it makes all these moral statements, but it doesn't linger on them. It's not making it's kind of a war is hell movie. Like, well, this is just the way it is. A modern movie would stop a lot more to make sure that you're getting the message here and stuff. Their messages in this movie they're very subtle.
Yes.
Just a couple of looks and it's like, well, and then Lee Marvin goes, look, basically doing the old, look, war's hell. You know, I mean, are we kids here or what? It's war. You know,
Is
I
our
don't know-
mission.
I-
Yeah.
I
How'd
don't
you
know
think?
what
How'd you think it was going to go down?
I don't know
Yeah.
what you read in history books about how war is done, but this is how it's done. I appreciate that in the movie, and I also appreciate the cuts, the editing of when they first start seeing those guys go out. Like it makes me glad that the movie took so long to get where it's going, because we got to know all those characters. When they first see the first dead guy, which is Sutherland,
Mm-hmm.
the look on, I think it's Reisman's face or Lee Marvin or whatever, it's like, or whoever sees it, it's just like,
Yeah, there's a bit
oh.
of care. Like it was a
Yeah.
fallen comrade. It wasn't just a perp or a
Yeah.
criminal.
but it's really subtle. I mean,
Yeah.
they don't ape it.
Yeah.
They don't ape it. I really like, because I watched it last night, after not watching it for like 10 years. And I was like, this really, I mean, the subtlety, the little look and then the look, they seem to reserve all the biggest horror for when Jim Brown gets it, because he does such a great job in dropping all those grenades.
Yeah.
He does basically a touchdown. He runs a touchdown.
Yeah.
Jim Brown finally gets to do what he does. So that's when everybody was cheering, because he's running like a football player, except this one dealing death, just throwing grenades down air shafts, roasting Nazis and their women alive. It's unbelievable. And the explosions, I mean, how much petrol did they, and it's like, yeah, go. And then Brown gets cut down, and the look on everybody's face, it's, they do a cutaway to Bronson, who's got just a mask of like he's just aghast at the whole thing. And everybody else, Lee Marvin, they're really just bummed out, They'd become friends.
Yeah. And they complete their mission and they get out of Germany. And only
In a really
Lee Marvin.
Rushed ending.
Yes. Lee Marvin, Charles Bronson.
And the sergeant, Richard Jekyll, who was always good in those movies.
And so only 4 people, right, survive, or 3?
3.
3 people survive the mission. Were to assume that Bronson was, cleared, or his record was wiped, and he would go back into service or go back home with.
Yeah.
It's one of those movies that if you haven't seen it, I mean, it is long, and I do think,
And it's old, it's
old.
like it's like from a different world, man.
it is.
I mean, the logic. I mean, I can imagine a lot of younger people just going like, what's the big deal about this? It's not reading that great violent or anything,
No, for a movie that like has a stigma of being super violent
Yeah.
and everything, it really wasn't violent. And
I mean, it's full on war movie. You think a lot of people get shot and stuff, but it's nothing like compared to slasher movies and all that. I mean, there are people now that just are so used to absolute, they're like John Wick fueled.
I feel if you want to see a super violent Dirty Dozen movie, the remake probably will fit that.
Oh, yeah.
And it's going to have a lot more
It's gonna be,
violence and yeah. Okay, so that is our movie section.
I love the movie, and it's such a weird thing, because they do take so much time to like set it up. I mean, he was going for the gold. He was trying to make a Gone with the Wind of war movies or something. I guess 2.5 hours and 67. Man,
And that, I believe.
I mean, that's the year that Jimi Hendrix first album came out.
Yeah, there's a lot going on in '67 in the world. I mean, the world is a lot of awesome shit is going on back then in terms of art.
Absolutely.
But we're going to fast forward to '88 for our comic book section.
Yeah.
For a comic that I believe was heavily influenced by the Dirty Dozen. And it's one of my favorite comics until a certain point. Like when it was introduced, I really loved it. But I have to admit, by the issue 30, it didn't have the same
Wow, you got through
punch.
30 issues.
I got through all of it. I bought every issue. But
Wow.
we're talking The Suicide Squad by John Ostrander and
Luke McDonnell.
Luke McDonnell. And you revealed yesterday or the day before via text that after you boned up on it, You're not a big fan.
No, man. I thought it was.
I'm not bummed. I'm more interested. I'd love to know what it is about a book that has this concept of taking villains, being a preemptive team, which is something that no team in comics are preemptive. These guys are going out on missions to stop stuff before it happens.
Yeah.
Rather than being like a Justice League reacts constantly.
Right. I mean, they're doing stuff, off the ledger. They go into. I mean, the Russia one was was my favorite of the story.
So the squad is the concept is DC has a library of C to D list characters.
And boy, are they seeing deal. I mean, they're hardly interesting. You know what I mean? That's my problem. It's like
that's really
it's like
this stuns me that you didn't find that because these characters had no backstory to begin with when they were introduced in the 60s and 50s.
Right. So why should I care if there's no backstory on these people? It's like, how do you begin? How do you begin to care about these people? One would be to draw them. A lot of this is on McDonald.
Okay.
To give them faces that look different from other people. He doesn't do it. McDonald's, he's a good action storyteller, but one face is the next. If the females look like the males, I mean, everybody looks the same.
I can see where you're coming from.
It's like,
I can see where you're coming from.
Look, man, I've seen action stuff like this. We talked about Master of Kung Fu. There is no problem in deciphering who is who in Master of Kung Fu.
But Master of Kung Fu had an absurd amount of talent. Like the artists were like gods, like Galassi to Zek to Gene Day.
Why didn't they get Galassi to do this? He was around. You know what I mean? That's my problem. It's not with the concept or anything like that, or Ostrander's writing. Although I think if I was writing the book and I had to script that after I saw Luke McDonald's art, I would have taken some of my verbiage out of it because it's just too much. I mean, McDonald's doing like 12-panel grids of conversation. It's not like a Kirby 9-panel grid of action. It's a 12-panel conversation grid of which Ostrander is writing more than enough words. It's like these two guys are doing two different jobs. Ostrander's writing a novel, an action novel, and Luke McDonald's he's plotting. He's putting it down like it's an Iron Man comic.
Well, that's the thing. Well, I'll give you my. Yeah. So you didn't like the art. You didn't like Luke McDonald.
Yeah, I think there was a big mishmash between the writing and the art.
See, Luke McDonald, for me, I first saw his work on Iron Man, like you mentioned.
Yeah,
and he's not polished.
Serviceable.
Yeah. I would agree with that. And I could see past the issues, like you said, he didn't draw females very pretty. They weren't pretty. None of them, he couldn't really draw a pretty female.
No. And to add to that, we've got those 80s hairstyles where everyone just looked awful anyway, But
what I do think what his forte was, or I don't even think he was doing it intentionally, was he made things look heavy. Like Iron Man's armor looked like it weighs 5,000 pounds, opposed to like John Romita Jr.'s art on Iron Man.
True.
It looks like it weighs an ounce. Like it's so fluid.
Yeah, it was tubbier, right? Yeah, you're right.
He has this guns look heavy. Women don't look sexy. T-shirts look like they weigh 5,000 pounds on guys. Like they just don't. Like there's no.
I'm going to check.
Drapery.
Yeah. And some of it has to do with the inker, too. There was a guy named Lewis that took
Bob
over.
Lewis. And Carl Kessel started out, but he left. He stayed on Byrne when Byrne got the gig on Superman for DC.
There's so much wrong with this comic. Well, one thing is it was bum rushed out after Legends. So you're supposed to this comic assumes that you just read Legends. It's bullshit. And it's like Legends was awful. Okay, keep going. Yeah.
So you didn't like the concept though. You have to.
The concept of it, I love it, and I would love to be able to. And I don't know how to do this because I don't like books that come with the origin first, which is hard. I mean, it's always great to give a little action first before you deep dive it. But they were deep diving on they more did a deep dive on Amanda Waller, which I love as a character.
Yeah, I have some notes on here.
She's fantastic. I mean, everything about this is fantastic, except for it's just, I think they tried to pack, 10 pounds of potatoes in a 5-pound bag in this 7 issues, or what was it, 6 issues?
8 issues. And there's a Secret Origins.
I read the Secret Origin, almost impossible to read.
That's where you
Awful.
really see how difficult it is for McDonald to draw a female, because Karen, Rick Flag's love interest it's like there's no effort seemingly at all to make her look like a girl. At times, she looks like a guy.
She look well, and it's like she looks like not only a guy but the guy. Like he has one face.
All right. So here's what.
If it wasn't for, I swear to God, if it wasn't for Captain Boomerang's hat and the penguin's nose, I wouldn't have known who any of those people were.
So for me, this comes out in a post comic book world of Alan Moore's Swamp Thing, Watchmen, Dark Knight.
Yep.
So that influence of dark, gritty is starting now. It's really like being ramped up.
And it's being felt in books like this, which is a rather smallish, when you think of it, it's a smallish book. It's not a heavy hitter. It's not like we're redoing Superman.
Right.
It's like we're going to get like a street level, good comic book. Don't know how long it's going to last. I mean, Suicide Squad, you don't feel like this is going to go right to the top. But it's the kind of comic book that I would love because of that. And I would have loved this, too, if it wasn't such a mishmash of like, I just thought they got off to a bad start.
Okay, so
Luke McDonald.
I think it's the last comic book that I can say I truly fell in love with. And you called it when you walked in because I feel like 87 is the last, 88, 89 is, for me, the last bit of years before adulthood creeps in, and not in a bad way.
No, I know what you mean.
Adulthood creeps in, and the things that come with being an adult make it harder for a guy or a kid or even a guy as I'm just out of high school to lay around in his bed and just think about comics all day.
Sure.
So this is the last book at the very end of that era for me, where I'm like, this is cool. It's Mission Impossible, obviously.
And again, and it's Mission Impossible, and it's Dirty Dozen, and it's
tough guys.
Yeah, it's tough guys, and it's
honorable guys mixed with really super tough guys.
And there was other good stuff coming around there at that time. There was the time of Airboy and stuff like that, right?
Yeah,
and
Chuck Dixon.
A little, the G.I. Joe thing.
Chuck Dixon, another dude who can write tough guys.
Yeah.
Really well.
I have a feeling if this was done by Ostrander and any one of those Chuck Dixon guys, the guys that worked with Chuck Dixon on
like Stan Walk,
Airboy, Stan Walk, it would have.
I think it might have tickled your
at least
your comic book funny bone a little, not funny bone, but what you like. But
poor McDonald, I don't think it's just his fault. I think the whole thing was just like way too much to start. It's like, who are you going to focus on? What are you going to do? I think they should have just gone with like total action for 4 issues and explained nothing. So
you didn't like the first 2 issues, which to me came right out of the bat and just grabbed me around the neck. The airport massacre with a Middle Eastern supervillain team called the Jihad in 1988. I'm like, I don't know. I've never heard of that word. I don't know what that means. I have what Quark, a fake Middle Eastern country who is supporting terrorists, a superpowered.
I think it was Qatar or something. But
was it not Quark?
Yeah, Quark. I like Quark better. Okay, cool. Quark. Yeah, they got a fake thing. Oh no, terrorists! They were on, man. But it was
in
on.
My world. I didn't like the real world had not seeped into my world.
It's just those characters were so funny too. Like Djinn, the first digital villain, and he's like a genie that comes out of a computer,
out of a CD box. It looked like.
Yeah. But, a little computer thing.
But when it was revealed, the opening issue of Suicide Squad #1, you're thrown into an airport massacre, and then it's revealed that the massacre was just a staged event where they hired actors and
They hired actors to pretend it was an American airport, and they were going to kidnap the president and a governor and kill them. And they really went all out. I mean, they built the whole airport and actually killed real actors and people.
That to me felt like, again, that was the bit of the grittiness of the Watchmen and Swamp Thing and Dark Knight.
Yes.
And then bringing in all these ridiculous Silver Age characters and then combining them. It was the last time that I was intrigued by, like, where I had seen characters. I'm like, I don't know who these characters are. I need to find out every last bit about these characters. And that's why it holds such a special place in my heart. Like
Boomerang, I knew.
I didn't know any of these characters other than like just seeing, because I was a Marvel guy.
Yeah, right.
So coming over with Perez to the Titans and then Crisis and then staying, I didn't know anything about Deadshot other than like the fucking dopest costume design
He's
ever.
a great character. I love Deadshot. He's a great character.
I knew that Boomerang was a Flash villain, but I didn't know he was an Australian.
Really stupid.
But and then you had this
Boomerang.
Bronze Tiger. Did you know anything about the Bronze Tiger?
I didn't know anything about Bronze
Did you
Tiger.
know he killed Batwoman?
No.
Neither did I. And there's just like so, and that's one of the things I think it's also maybe published in the last era of comic book world that doesn't exist anymore, where
that's for sure.
You're thrown into it and you have all these footnotes by the editor and you have thought balloons by characters, which are gone the way of the dinosaur. And they just are throwing so much at you.
Why people just out and out thought balloons. That's a great comic book. I mean, that's one of the most awesome things about comic books.
It's something that no other.
It differentiates themselves from
TV
movies,
and movies. Yeah,
thought balloons are perfectly good. Somebody brought him back. Brian Bendis brought him back for a while.
Recently?
Yeah, like 10 years ago.
So here are some of the characters, like you mentioned, Amanda Waller, who was a single mom, no superpowers, but she's the leader. And for the research for this, Ostrander said that he was dead set on introducing a female black leader because he felt DC was woefully lacking characters with those demographics. And I have to think, though, that he created a character that will live on long after him, because I believe that she's a staple now in the DC universe. Appearing in
couldn't
movies.
imagine. I mean, it's like that's the real deal. But did they redesign her and make her better looking?
Yes, yeah.
That was a big mistake. That's a big mistake. I mean, like when I first saw her character, and I forget, it probably was in this, but this is where she was introduced.
Yeah,
and other stuff. I was like, somebody is the coolest person in the world. This is like so ballsy move. Like a fat black lady is going to be
as tough as nails.
Tough, and you know, she doesn't look like there's no place in her in a superhero comic. This is the coolest thing ever.
She's not intimidated by any of the superpowered characters.
No, she's total brains and just an attitude. I was like, this is the coolest thing ever, and I was really disappointed to see a couple of years later, or how many years later, where they slimmed her up and did. And it was like, no, that was the cool thing about her.
But I have to think. I try to rack my brain, but I believe she's Ostrander's great original character contribution to the DC universe, because everything else, they were all existing characters that he was using in this book. Rick Flag Jr. This is why I thought you would like it.
Yeah,
because his first appearance is in 1959.
I read those crazy dinosaur.
Yeah.
I love those Suicide Squad.
The Bronze Tiger, first appearance in 1975, and of all things, Richard Dragon, Kung Fu Fighter, I think.
I never read
him
Dragon,
either.
No.
That's why I had no idea.
Yeah.
The Enchantress, first appearance 1966, and then never really appeared in anything else. Oof, I only wrote down what I don't know.
Yeah.
Maybe Brave and Bold, I don't know. Or one of those showcase titles or something. Yeah. Captain Boomerang, first appearance 1960.
Flash. Yeah.
Nightshade, purchased from Charlton. And Charlton Comics. She was one of the Charlton characters.
Gotcha.
Now, I wanted to ask you, since you didn't like the book, but I wanted to ask your thoughts on how unique is it that a company, DC Comics, purchased a staple of other superhero characters from another company.
No, they did it before. I mean, Fawcett did it. I mean,
Yeah.
it was in the late 40s and early 50s. People were, you know,
Acquiring.
acquiring. Yeah.
But
I mean, I think even DC bought. Yeah, DC bought Captain Marvel, stuff like that, and DC bought other characters too.
so that was 1984, 83 that they buy Charlton Charlton superheroes.
Yeah.
What do you think the price tag was if you had to guess in 1983? What did Charlton take?
No, they probably took a lot less than they should have.
Right? Considering, although they didn't use them for Watchmen, what the billions of dollars that Watchmen.
It would have been so cool if they did.
It would have been.
Oh,
But I don't think it would have had the same impact, though.
No, I know with all those original characters.
Yeah, but I don't think it would have the same impact in the world, though, because it would have been still like, oh, these are, since they were original characters, I don't know. I just feel like it would have had a little bit of I don't know if it would have been hailed as
as
brilliant.
as literary as
Yes.
well. Like, because I mean, to a lot of these people, it's the first time they ever read a comic book ever.
Mm-hmm.
So they're like, look at these magnificent characters. And then if you have to like piss it all down, like, oh, well, actually, you got to geek it out. Actually, this is blah, 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 blah. But I myself would have absolutely been tickled pink if that would have been the original idea, which was Twilight of the Superheroes, where they're all going to die. He was Alan Moore was going to kill off every Charlton character.
But
It was blaze of glory.
I don't know if it's out there. I really should have done the homework, but I can't imagine that the amount is out there for public consumption of what Charlton agreed to.
I know. I can only
It's
imagine.
gotta be.
I mean, they were down on their knees at that time. I'm sure they, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Poor Charlton was hurting.
But
Newsstands were going.
Nightshade is a character that I liked her because she gave the team the ability to teleport anywhere. And again, he had, like, Ostrander, Dirty Dozen had to be influenced. I believe Mission Impossible also was.
Mission Impossible.
Had to be a massive influence, as well as that whole thing of compiling a new team every mission, having some core villains stay on, like Deadshot and Boomerang. But
I always like Ostrander. I mean, Ostrander's cool. He did good Martian Manhunter.
yeah, he did the Spectre with
Spectre,
Mandrake.
and that Adam Strange miniseries, which was really good, but done by the Kubert brothers.
Did he do that too?
What?
He did that too,
I
huh?
think he wrote
I don't
that,
know.
yeah.
There's another character who reminds me of much like the Dirty Dozen, where there's really good, altruistic, noble characters like Nemesis.
Well, right, yeah. I was surprised that Nemesis was in there. Yeah, Nemesis was good.
Nemesis,
Yeah. I mean, I'm liking it now that I sit here and I'm basking in the glow of your enthusiasm. your youthful enthusiasm. I'm like, oh yeah, okay, I remember. That's right, Nemesis. But yeah, the overall.
And Nemesis had no powers, but he was the master of disguise, and he did the same shit that you see in Mission Impossible. He was in a mask all the time.
Yeah, right.
And it was that's why I was just like, oh, this is cool. It's like Mission Impossible inside the DC universe. And again, my favorite all-time character in the book was Deadshot, a.k.a. Floyd Lawton, introduced in 1950. Doesn't look like the Deadshot in this book in 1950. He's got like a top hat and tuxedo.
Oh, really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, it wasn't until the 70s that Marshall Rogers redesigned.
I didn't know they counted him as the same guy.
Same guy. Gave him that.
I mean, I knew of the 1950s Deadshot, but they're actually trying to make me believe that it's the same guy.
Yeah, because there's in the book he grew up an affluent playboy, much like Bruce Wayne.
Okay,
but he turned it to crime instead of fighting crime. I don't know. I feel like, much like you said, it has to be all because when I was introduced to it, that it has such a hold on me.
You gave it a chance. Like I started like turning up my nose at the art, going like, look, I mean, this thing has got a lot to, there's a lot in this story. Ostrander is not, it's not unknown for him to overwrite. And it's not a matter of overwriting, but it's like, how much can you fit into a thing like this? It's like he's obviously writing what could have been a screenplay or a book, with all these twists and turns and all these characters and stuff. It would have been nice if I would have at least had the time to figure out who these people were without all these editors' notes telling me who they were or where I should have read last time or whether, see this.
Yes, there's a lot of see this, read this for more info.
I expect that out of a book that's been running for 25 issues, not the number one issue. Like, see Legends. And I'm like, see Legends. But like I said, I did warm up to it towards the end, and I thought the Russian...
That Russian storyline
was really, really good.
Wasn't that really well done?
I'm a sucker for inside Russia stuff, You ever read the Punisher War Journal ones where he goes to Russia?
I think so. I have them.
Those are good, man. Yeah. I mean, those are worth another look. I'm surprised they haven't been singled out as it's like Joe Kubert.
Yes.
Draws them.
Yes.
And they're really good Russia stories, A-bombs and stuff.
But this Russia storyline, it really hammered home that I was like, that's the issues where I was like, I'm totally in because Ostrander has taken these characters, taken them out of costumes, put them into roles where there's no superpowers, and I'm still interested in what's going on, and I was
more interested by that point. I thought the story was a better, and there was less referring to. Let's just say that he finished all his refereeing business.
Yeah.
I think my main problem with the thing is like Luke McDonnell wasn't the right. They could have had a better artist for the series, meaning somebody who could explain things with faces, and also that it just had a weird convoluted start.
Yeah, but that's also a product of its time. DC
they're coming off Crisis.
Yes, coming off Crisis, and the bank that they made off Crisis is like, we are having an event every year.
Yeah.
Every title must play a part in it, so we get all the crossover. Everybody must feel they have to have every tie-in.
I wonder if around this time there are more asterisks in any comic books ever than the ones just like, see this, see that. It's like, it's gotta be.
It's one of those like you put on you put it on the board with a pin and all the strings attached to like what you have to read next to follow the story. But
of course you don't really have to, but I felt like I was missing out because right from the first issue, like, oh my God, what are they asking me to do here?
And that, again, it all comes back to when I was introduced to it. There were no hurdles at that point for me. Like they weren't seen as mountains to climb. They were seen as like just part of the adventure. Was like, okay, I gotta get this.
Right.
And that gets kind of, you age out of that as you become an adult and other things take priority.
So that's saying that I read this comic 2 nights ago and was like too old to enjoy it. Fuck this shit. Hand me your story. Come here. Somebody come here and read this for me, will you?
All right.
You read this for me. Who did the
Howard Chaykin did the cover.
I like these covers. I like the cover. At first, I thought it was Carmine Infantino that was inked by somebody else.
Very strange that Chaykin would have got tabbed to do the first issue.
The whole thing looks. I mean.
And the Bronze Tiger, Ben Wallace, he was hypnotized by the League of Assassins to kill Batwoman in a story I never read. But
okay.
So I'm
surprised I haven't read that because I recently went back. Well. I went on a deep DC dive in the last couple of years.
Detective Comics, probably like Irv Novick drew it too.
That's probably, it takes me a little while to get. Okay.
But so he's a character I have no exposure to, but I think it's so cool that he has a tiger's head cowl that he wears. And immediately I'm like, Luke McDonnell, I read like boning up for this episode. I read that, and one of the things that Luke McDonnell told Ostrander was, I can't draw that tiger mask all the time. He's got to take the mask off. So I could just draw a normal face, and we'll put some little yellow makeup on. And that's why he took the fucking cool mask off. And I'm like, are you kidding me?
Of course, Luke McDonald.
Didn't he said it was just a bitch to draw all the time was the tiger mask.
I'm sorry.
And that's why he abandoned the tiger
I
mask.
knew I had a good feeling about that McDonald fella.
I guess, to be fair to him,
Right.
there's not many artists who jump to do team books because they're such monstrous tasks. Like George Perez wants to do as many characters as possible.
Well, George
he's a
Perez
freak.
was inhuman.
You're right.
Yeah, he's
Luke McDonald's like, what do I got? I got 8 characters in a panel.
You're driving me crazy here.
Yeah, I need to take the mask off that guy so he can get this done in a month.
I forget. I counted one of the grids. It was like, holy God Almighty,
Yeah.
But
All right, so Dave can't recommend it with any kind of honesty.
except for if you kids can grab a chunk of Walt's enthusiasm, and you run with that ball, and you come back and tell me I'm wrong about Suicide Squad, I'll high five you.
But you can, with all enthusiasm and vim and vigor, advise people to seek out the Dirty Dozen and check it out.
Yeah, if not just for see like a period piece of the late 20th century war movie grandness at the end. I mean, they blow stuff up real good, and there's something to be said for watching a movie with military drum beats in the background. It makes you sit on the edge of your seat.
Oh yeah. And like I said, I recommend both the movie and the Suicide Squad book. They don't make comics like this anymore, and
For good reason.
Some would say for good reason. But
I wish they would. I mean, it's like I've got nothing against concept.
right,
It's just
concept is cool.
Just give me Galeese.
And I think Deadshot's the price of admission. I'm sure you can find the first trade paperback is called Trial by Fire, and on eBay I feel you can find it for like $6.
Hell yeah.
$5 shipping.
Oh, yeah.
Because it's an old trade. It's been out there forever. And I think Deadshot will keep you entertained because, again, he was like, I thought they were setting up to be like Marvel's Wolverine. Tough ass, kill with
I thought that too. It was like some sort of Punisher, Wolverine, but then it was Lobo, so I don't know who was their Wolverine.
Yeah.
But I liked the Deadshot character. I liked his backstory. I liked the whole thing. I totally bought it. That and the other guy, the guy that had the affair with Terra. Who was him?
Geoforce?
No,
Terra was. Terra. Terra was her brother. Changeling.
Geoforce.
Deathstroke, the Terminator.
Deathstroke. Yeah, I liked him too. They were like particular DC guys. It was like Marvel doesn't have guys that are like this. This is like extra creepy,
We didn't talk about the movies at all, and with good reason. I feel the first movie, and I was so excited for it, but it was a complete and utter letdown. And Deadshot was in it, but it was Will Smith, and he didn't have a cool mask. It was a fucking disaster. But I will say, if you've not seen it, and I don't know if you would even entertain, but I do feel that James Gunn did the second Suicide Squad movie, and there are moments where you can tell he is a fan of the comic.
Yeah,
it is a cult classic.
Sure.
A lot of creators who got into the industry mention Suicide Squad as a book that they dug when they were on the other side of the counter or the other side buying comics and reading them rather than creating them. But the movie has King Shark in it, and it's Stallone, and it's really good.
I just love the character of the shark. It's ridiculous.
And Starro's in it.
Really?
Starro's in it, and it is absolutely jaw-dropping because the special effects are awesome.
Is he giant?
He's absolutely massive. And they're in a Middle Eastern, I believe it's Quark, however you say it, but and they have to defeat this monstrous alien. I can almost guarantee you would find things in it you're like, whoa, this is cool. Because there's some love, I believe, in this production.
Maybe I will. I'll give it a chance. Like my first instinct towards comic book movies, I never watch them. Because it's like this whole, just something rubs me the wrong way about it. It's like, I've seen them done.
Yeah. And
I love comic books so much. And I have this thing inside me that's like, Well, why should you make it a movie? What does that make it better? I know it's a stupid thing, but
I understand where you're coming from. I get what you're talking about. But I do think that you would be pleasantly surprised at the second Suicide Squad movie in terms of its ambitions and its tone. It does feel like a love letter to this series.
Okay.
And
I'll give it a shot.
I think just Starro alone, I think
Starro.
you would be like, whoa.
How can you not?
And what's cool is like they show like Starro came to Earth in the 60s and they want to use it to the government wants to use Starro and the little stars he emits. You know how to cover their faces?
Yeah, right.
To they want to use it as a secret weapon to keep Superman in line because they think that's what they're developing Starro for. It's a pretty cool idea.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
I like it.
All right. Well, thank you, Dave, for spending
my pleasure,
time
man.
with us and talking some 60s and 80s.
I had a great time watching the movie, man. It's been a while since I watched it.
And I'm sure we'll be back again with some more blasts from the past.
Hell yeah.